What is going on, guys? So you decided to join the Army and you're thinking about doing college ROTC, and in this video I'm going to talk about a little bit about ROTC and what it's like and if I recommend it to you guys. So just a little bit of a background for me and my experience in ROTC so far. I have done about a year and a half of ROTC. I did it after I had already joined the military. I did not start my college career off in ROTC, then join the military and then come back to ROTC. I did that afterwards. So a little bit of background for me. I went in and I joined the Army Reserve. As soon as I graduated AIT, the spring semester, January of 2016, that first semester I joined the ROTC program at UNC Charlotte and began that whole adventure. And I didn't get contracted until this January of 2017. I could have gotten contracted before, but I'll talk a little bit about that probably in a little bit. So I joined in January of 2016. Now, some of you guys might be curious what it's like, the whole joining process in college and how difficult it is to get in. Now, the whole ROTC thing in college is optional for you, and you can basically just join it like a normal class. So the way you join your normal classes in college and you go and you sign up for your new semester and stuff like that, you sign up for your ROTC class. You do not have to be in the military. In fact, 90% of the cadets at our school are not prior service or in the reserve or the National Guard or doing the green to gold program. So you do not have to be in the military. You literally just have to sign up for it like it's just a normal class. Like, you can get your minor in military science by taking all these ROTC courses, right? So what ROTC consists of for my school, it might be different at other schools, but at my school, UNC Charlotte, we have a 1 day a week class. So we go to class once per week and we have to wear our uniforms and stuff like that to it. So I would wear my like OCP uniform, which you can kind of see right there. So I'll wear that to class. Sometimes you have to wear your Class A or Class B uniforms, which is the dress uniform, your ASUs. Sometimes you have to wear that. But yeah, so you just go to class once a week. It's really not difficult. The classes, you're basically being taught by an actual instructor who's in the military. Sometimes it might be a retired, like for example, a retired military personnel. So my MS2 year, which is my sophomore year of the ROTC program, I had a retired sergeant major as my instructor. This semester I had a master sergeant E8 who is still in the military as my instructor, and next year I'm not sure who exactly it will be. I think it will either be the same guy as this year or our major, basically the battalion commander. So you do have military personnel who are currently in the military teaching you, and retired or just, you know, retired military personnel that can teach you. So you have your classes where they're teaching you different leadership roles and all the different things that you need to learn to be a leader in the military. This semester, your junior year, you focus on platoon operations and all the different troop leading procedures that you have to go through to direct your platoon in conducting an ambush or conducting a raid, just all kinds of different stuff. The things that you learn the first 2 years are basically the stuff that you learn whenever you're at basic training in AIT, which is just the military lifestyle basically. So just some basic stuff, you know, marching, I guess. I did not do the first 2 years of basic training. Now I do want to talk about that real quick. If you are in the military, you do not have to do the first 2 years of ROTC. ROTC is a 4-year program, but if you have gone to basic and AIT like I did, you can skip the first 2 years and jump in at the junior year level. Now for me, with the way the classes are scheduled out and stuff, I had to jump in the last semester of the second year, so I got just a little bit of that. which was all pretty much review for me. We're basically just covering things that we learned in basic, and that's kind of how that works. So if you've got prior military experience, you can skip the first 2 years of ROTC and start. But yeah, so the third year, which I'm in at right now, you learn platoon operations. Next year, I believe my senior year, we learn basically company level operations, and then I will graduate and be an officer. So that is basically the class portion of what you learn in classes. Now, you do have to join in a lab as well, which is kind of like monthly drills. So for any of you guys that are going to be in the reserves of the National Guard, and you have to do stuff 1 week in a month, well, in ROTC you kind of have something similar. You have a lab that lasts around 8 hours on a Saturday once every month, and you'll have FTXs and stuff too that will last 3 to 4 days basically. So it's almost like an extra drill for the military, and if you're contracted, you the ROTC takes precedence. So if I can remember, I want to push that back and talk about it later, so stick to the end if you want to hear me talk about getting contracted part. But right now I'm talking about the school. So during the labs you learn different things. Again, this semester we talked about platoon operations. So during our labs, we actually conducted them. We would go out into the woods and do little raid missions, and we would have different leadership roles. So for example, if I was a platoon leader or a squad leader, I would play that role for that mission, and we would try to do it and conduct that. And the instructors and the MS4 levels and stuff, they would basically critique us and tell us what we did right, what we did wrong, and kind of coach us through that. So that's kind of what that is like, and you do that every single month. Over the summer, you do have extra training that you have to go to. If you are not contracted, you do not have to do it because you're not contracted. Contracted just means that you have actually signed your papers and you're gonna, graduate college and do all that stuff as a second lieutenant, and you've got to join the military at that point. But if you are contracted like me, this summer I actually leave next week to go to my advanced camp training, which I like to call it basic training for officers, which is basically where we get graded and tested on the things that we've learned. So similar to the stuff that we did in ROTC, I will be put in charge of a platoon or put in different leadership positions, and we will get graded, like legitimately graded, on how well we perform our leadership duties and the things that we have to do, how well we lead all these other troops and stuff to complete the mission. Whatever the mission will be that I'll be in charge of, you will literally have somebody next to you basically grading you while you're doing that. So then after this summer, I will basically find out what branch I'm going to get. I'm wanting to do a couple different branches, but yeah, this fall, I think probably in August, September-ish, I will find out what MOS or job I'm going to get as an officer. So something that I almost forgot to mention just then was in ROTC you have to do PT in the mornings. Now, if you're contracted, it is highly advised. It's not necessarily mandatory, but it really looks bad on you if you do not basically participate in PT. Me personally, I've been exempt kind of from PT. It probably still looks maybe somewhat bad, but I've been kind of exempt from doing PT in the mornings basically because I have so much stuff with work and stuff going on, and I actually commute to school. I think I'm the only cadet that commutes to school, and I don't live like on campus, so I've kind of been exempt from participating in the PT. I go to the mandatory stuff, but since I'm in good shape and I can, I'm in good shape and I don't really have to go to PT, and on top of that it interferes with work, I'm kind of exempt from that. So I want to just clear that out of the way real quick. So you go to PT in the mornings, and it's really just similar to your PT and basic and AIT. You'll do your prep drill and all that stuff, and it's all kind of cadet led. What I mean by cadet led is most of this ROTC program and this training stuff is cadet led. So the seniors, the cadets that are about to graduate and become second lieutenants, they are leading a lot of the courses that you have to go to, and they'll do little classes and stuff and help you guys out, and or they will lead the PT sessions and stuff like that. You will have cadet leadership roles like you do in basic and AIT. And once you guys go through basic and AIT, you'll understand what I mean as leadership roles. But in ROTC, you have cadet leadership roles, and they kind of make some of the decisions. But there are, remember, those instructors who are either in the military currently or retired military that are over the whole program. And then you have the cadets right under them, making some of the more minor decisions on what kind of to do. So that's what I mean by cadet led. Now I want to get into some of the pros, I guess, and why you should join ROTC if you want to be an officer. So the number one thing for ROTC is if you want to be an officer. If you don't want to be an officer, I really don't see much of a point in ROTC, because you have to, even if you're just in the class, kind of go to these things that's just really inconvenient if you have no reason why you want to be in ROTC. So if you don't want to be an officer, just straight off the bat, I probably wouldn't recommend ROTC. I mean, if you want to learn some of the leadership things and, you know, do that, you can probably do it, but 99% of the cadets are actually planning on becoming an officer. So that's the number one thing, is if you want to be an officer, go for it. If you don't want to be an officer, don't go for it. So if you do want to be an officer, some of the pros and really good benefits that ROTC gives you is, number one, the extra pay. The stipend pay is phenomenal, right? So if you are in the Army Reserves or the National Guard, you will get your drill pay and all that stuff, so you get that every month, right? The next big positive is if you're in the military, you get the GI Bill to help pay for school, so that's good. And then when you get contracted in the reserves, right? So when you get contracted in the reserves, or in ROTC, my bad. When you get contracted in ROTC, you have basically signed up to be an officer. Once that happens, you start getting a stipend pay. So that is basically a monthly allowance that is tax-free, that goes towards you to help pay for school and all these other different things that you need it to be. And the different, it kind of varies on the year. So let's say you're a senior in college, the monthly stipend pay is $500 a month. If you're a junior, which is my grade level this past semester, school's over now, so now I'm technically a senior, but last year I got $450 a month, which is awesome. The year before that, I believe it's $400 a month. And then if you were to contract your freshman year, I believe is $350 a month that you get just straight off the top, tax-free, just money that just goes to you for whatever. So that's freaking awesome. So I want to kind of let you guys understand why this is so cool, right? So if you are in the reserves or the National Guard and you want to be an officer, you are pretty much set. Like, this is something that I recommend to a lot of people that want to be officers. I'm like, do the freaking ROTC program, because you get the stipend pay, you get your drill pay, and you get the GI Bill, right? So for me, for example, after taxes, I get, I don't know, $250 a month for drill, and that is with my E5 pay. So $250 a month for drill, right? I get that every single month, and then I get the GI Bill, which helps pay for school, which is for me, it's like $568 a month. So let's just say it's $550 a month, all tax, or that's tax free. So that's what, $800. So that's what, yeah, $800 a month. And then on top of that, you will get your stipend pay. So for me, for example, as a junior in college, I got $450 a month. So if those two things were 800 plus 450, that's $1,250 a month. $1,250 a month that I get every month, at least that school is in, except for like the 2 or 3 months that it's summertime. So 9 months out of the year, I get $1,250 a month, and that's just money, right? That is just guaranteed money that I'm gonna get every single month. You know, you don't even have to have a job or whatever. So for me, for example, I have to get financial assistance or FAFSA to pay for college, and that actually pays for my base tuition and fees and stuff like that, right? The extra money that I get is just extra money that helps pay for travel and stuff like that. And then this fall, I'll be getting an apartment up there. So it's freaking awesome, right? Now, the other big thing, now I do want to point out, I hope I didn't get that math right or wrong, because I would feel super stupid if I did get it wrong, so I'm going to double check myself after this video. So you guys might be laughing at me, but I hope I got it right. But anyways, the next big positive thing, I kind of mentioned it briefly, is once you get contracted as a cadet, you start to accumulate E5 pay. So let's say, for example, you joined the Army Reserves and you were a private first class PFC, which is an E3, and then you contract into the ROTC program. Well, your pay is now going to bump up to E5 pay. So you've almost basically skipped 2 ranks in the military, and you're now going to be getting E5 pay whenever you're doing all of your military stuff. So a drill and all this other stuff that you're going to be doing, you're going to be getting E5 pay. So that's a nice little bump in your pay for your drill. So that's another really big and awesome like pro to ROTC is the pay. The next big positive about ROTC is the GRFD scholarship. You have to be contracted to get this, but the GRFD scholarship is basically, I believe, a $10,000 to $14,000 scholarship that will go towards your housing or whatever. I did not get this because I ended up joining too late in the program, and all the funds had already been gone. So the way ROTC works is you have different mission sets. So my mission set is basically the graduating class of May 2018. The next mission set will be May of 2019, and each mission set, that is a tongue twister, but each mission set has basically so much money allotted towards I don't know, that mission set, and they can, you know, use that money for scholarships, use that money for XYZ, contracting cadets and their stipend pay and stuff like that. Because I just contracted in January of 2017, I should have done it when I had just started the ROTC program. Then I would have been getting stipend pay and all that awesome stuff. But because I was so late into it, there wasn't enough money left in the money left in the bank to basically give me a straight up freaking $10,000 a year to help pay for my apartment and stuff like that. And that's really the reason why I didn't live on or around campus. But if I had done it the year prior, whenever I actually started ROTC, I would have gotten that, but that was a stupid decision. So the GRFD scholarship is another awesome thing. So if you were to, you know, add up that was $1,250 before. If you were to get the GRFD scholarship, which you have to have, and you don't have to have a ridiculous GPA. I think it's like above a 2.5. I think you have to have above a 2.5 GPA, and or depending upon your major, but it's really not that bad. And you can take that $10,000, divide it by 12, and add it to the $1,250 a month that you get from the other benefits from being in the military, going to school, and that would be how much you get. So I don't know, let's just say $1,500, $1,600 a month, and that's freaking awesome in my opinion. So if you are sitting out there and you are curious and you're wondering, you know, I want to be an officer, and you know, I want to go to school and I want to finish school, well, ROTC is just perfect, right? So you get all these extra financial benefits, right? It's really not that difficult, especially if you live on or around campus and you're really close by and you don't have to wake up really super early like I do to have to commute 40 minutes in the mornings. But it's really not that difficult. If you're in the military already, you've already got your military bearing down, you kind of know your way around certain things, so it's really not that bad. So that's pretty much the end of this video. I hope you guys are a little bit more informed about the ROTC program in college and what it's like and some of the benefits. Maybe I didn't cover everything in the book, but that's pretty much the gist of it. It's not too difficult. You get some extra pay benefits and you become an officer in the freaking United States Army. That is just awesome. There are also Air Force and, you know, programs like that, but for me, I'm in the Army, so I'm in the Army ROTC program. So it's awesome. There's not really much negative to talk about. I mean, for me, the only negative is I just want it to be over with so I can be a second lieutenant and just get out of, you know, cadet land and all that stuff and be in the real Army again, even though I'm in the reserves. But you know, it's just I'm excited to become a second lieutenant, and we had our commissioning ceremony last week, so yeah, so that was pretty cool and pretty, you know, inspiring to be like, you know, I'm only 1 year away from being a second lieutenant. It's something I've been wanting for a while. So I'm gonna stop blabbing on right now. Some of you guys probably already stopped watching the video, but that is okay. I just, I'm thankful to be making these videos, and for the couple of you guys that sticked around, I'm thankful for you guys watching this. You're just awesome. You help motivate me to make these videos, even though I'm an extremely busy person and I try to fit this in my schedule. So that's one of the reasons why this video is going up late, because I'm busy. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. That would be freaking awesome. Comment any questions you have down below. If you have any questions about ROTC, I will be glad to answer those. And if you want to hear about more of my military blabberiness and talking about all my experiences and what's going on, and making other future videos, please hit that subscribe button. That would be awesome. So thank you guys for that. And yeah, so I'll see you guys later.